This was the church I went to from boyhood. When I was in Leeds, we used to travel here. When the leader Symington stayed with us in November 1971, he was new on the block, fresh off the block, stayed with us, and yeah, we travelled. Well, we drove him over here every day along with James III, and there was the time on the Saturday when my mother was sitting with Mrs. Symington at the back of the church, the full hall, and Symington, my father, would go out quickly afterwards and get in the car. But one time my mother was a bit rebellious. She decided to stay in the room. So Mrs. Symington went out and Grandad had to wait. And anyway, she got out there eventually, and Symington turned round and snarled at her, "You're an insubject woman." And he said that in 1971 and 2 and 3 about a lot of lovely sisters in the Brethren. He was frightening, and she kind of shriveled up. And then, of course, he had a withdrawal from her. So we had my father. He stayed with us in 71. By March, 4 months later, he had my father sat back, and then withdrew from him September 72. So that's just, when I was asked to sit back, I said, oh, I remember my father being withdrawn from after being sat back, and pretty much exactly to a day, the length of time between me having been told to sit back and being shut up was exactly the same as my father. And I said to my brother Garth, when he told me to sit back, I said, "But father," well, as soon as he sat, "Oh, that was to his credit that he sat back." So it'd be to your credit if you sit back, Lance. It's a bit like when he came for the last priestly. It's to my credit that I've never had a relationship with any other woman. But then he proceeds to shut me up. It's ruthless behaviour. He's my younger brother. Where's his heart? Where's his feelings? It's seriously narcissistic traits. Anyway, another time here, we had some bright moments here. We did a lot of work on this room, digging out the centre. So we have a dish floor, we did a lot of roofing, all sorts of stuff here. I remember one time we had a big meeting here with Arthur Lyon, and I guess it was about 1974, Christmas I think it was, and brethren from wide and far, and then had a good reading, and then he was asked who should suggest the jesters. And of course, he said Trevor Bradford and Lance Christie. so I was local. I mean, I was a nobody. I just felt, so I had to go down there and say a few words, and brethren said amen and sang a hymn and prayed. I prayed to pray, I think, and that was that. And of course, my son, Jed's been subject to the same sort of stuff by the current leader, who he made quite a hero of, because he takes addresses in 3-day meetings and consequently becomes quite famous, and the position you get and all that, and you know, you try and hide it, but you do like it if the man of God thinks you're a great guy. So it gives you a certain status, a certain credibility, and you hang a lot on that. And that's how it works. If you are validated by the man of God, you are the bee's knees. You get gifts, potentially, from around the world. But then suddenly, if he says you're a bad man, overnight you are changed from being a hero, really, and in high regard from your local brethren, to being a cast-out, a dropout, a social retard, just a bad person, simply because they believe that if the man of God is told by God that you're a bad person, it has to be right. So you have no chance of pleading your case. Oh, that's pride. So you actually have your whole being demolished, really. And if you come back a shivering wreck and say that Mr. Hales this way, I said, well, what about Mr. Hales? Oh, you're mental. If you disagree, you must be mental. You're disagreeing with the man of God. You're asking a question. You're mental. Well, actual fact, I've got questions to the man of God, which I've been asking in a respectful way, and writing him letters after letters after letters after letters. He doesn't reply. Writing to my local brethren letters, send the police round. So who do I speak to? I've got a voice, people can hear that, but where do I direct my plea for help? It's just a stone wall, it's separation. Oh no, you're out. you were drawn from, you're excommunicated. It's like a big massive one. We have this barbed wire on the fence. This is from the Brethren times. I think we moved out of here about in the 80s, 1980s, I think it was. And we had barbed wire, and doesn't look very welcoming, does it? And, the old notice boards don't look as welcoming as they used to be. So it's all very austere and plain and boring and drab, no windows, for people looking in from out. But of course they're separated from the world. We're not letting the world in here. We're a special lot in touch with God. Well, as long as they are. And the Lord did get into some of the gatherings there. I felt clearly motivated. I was helped serving the brethren in Grangemouth and Glasgow and Kilmarnock in February 17. But Garth came up the next week and basically undermined all I'd done and had them withdraw the meetings and repudiate the meetings and have to judge themselves for having anything to do for supporting me, kind of thing, And so it's sad because I got a gift from the brethren in Glasgow, so someone must have appreciated what I did. But if Garth comes along, or Hales, or others under their layers of hidden, secret nonsense, they have to do what they say. End of story.